You think you know someone, meet, but what happens when everything you believe turns upside down? I never expected to feel this way, but the moment I noticed him, everything changed. And what happened next? You won't believe. He moved with an effortless charm that seemed to follow him everywhere. Every glance he threw carried a weight that made her heart skip. She noticed the subtle curve of his lips when he smiled. The way his eyes lingered, even for a second longer than necessary, drew her in. A shiver ran down her spine when their hands accidentally touched. It wasn't just attraction. It was something deeper, something electric. She found herself leaning in whenever he spoke, captivated by his every word. Her thoughts wandered in ways she hadn't expected, imagining moments she knew she shouldn't. Every laugh he shared seemed to echo inside her chest. There was an unspoken language between them, understood only in fleeting glances and subtle gestures. She caught herself watching him move, tracing every motion in her mind. Even the simplest touch, the brush of his hand against hers, sent warmth rushing through her. Her heartbeat quickened when he looked at her, eyes locking with hers in quiet intensity. She was drawn to him in ways that felt impossible to resist. Every day their connection grew, an invisible thread pulling them together. Even ordinary conversations carried a tension that made her pulse race. He would lean closer, seemingly by accident, and she would feel a surge of heat she couldn't name. Small smiles, quiet laughter, shared glances, each moment felt charged. Her mind replayed every detail of their interactions, savoring them in secret. She noticed the subtle change in his tone when he spoke to her. Softer, slower, deliberate. Every gesture became a question and an answer, a dance of desire and restraint. Her thoughts betrayed her again and again, imagining what it would feel like to be closer. The pull between them was magnetic, undeniable, and completely consuming. She caught herself imagining his fingers tracing her skin, the warmth of him so close it left her breathless. Even mundane moments, sitting, talking, laughing, felt intimate in ways that made her heart ache. Their hands brushed, lingered, and she felt sparks that made her entire body hum. She noticed the way his presence filled the room without a single word. Her chest tightened when he caught her watching, a knowing smile tugging at his lips. Every shared laugh seemed to linger in the air between them. The intensity of the attraction was subtle, patient, and entirely intoxicating. She longed for more, though she couldn't name what that more was. It was in the quiet moments, the fleeting touches, the way he looked at her that made the world fade. Her thoughts were filled with him, day and night, replaying every touch, every glance. Even the sound of his voice, soft and deliberate, stirred something deep inside her. She imagined the brush of his lips against hers, the warmth of a hand lingering just a moment too long. The unspoken tension built with every encounter, every accidental closeness, every subtle shift, every laugh, every sigh carried layers of meaning she ached to understand. Her imagination ran wild in the quiet, secret corners of her mind. Even the smallest gesture, a touch on her shoulder, a hand brushing hers, sent shivers through her. She caught herself holding her breath when he looked at her in certain ways. Her pulse quickened at the thought of what could happen if the invisible boundaries faded. She imagined his touch tracing along her arm, down her spine, the thrill of proximity almost unbearable. Every subtle glance and brush of skin became a story in itself. She wanted to lean in, to let the attraction take form, yet a small, careful part of her resisted. The tension was electric, unspoken, deliciously consuming. She imagined their laughter turning into whispers, whispers into touches, touches into something more. Even casual proximity felt intimate, every second drawn out, every heartbeat amplified. The air between them felt heavier, charged with the quiet weight of unspoken desire. Her thoughts circled back again and again to what it would feel like to close the distance. The smallest touches lingered longer in memory, becoming fantasies she couldn't admit aloud. Even in shared silence, she felt the pull of his presence, a magnetic draw she could not resist. She imagined the warmth of him near, the brush of a hand, the light pressure of lips just above hers. Every day, the longing built, subtle but unrelenting, impossible to ignore. Her mind replayed every detail, every glance, every shared breath. She caught herself leaning slightly closer, craving the warmth of his body near hers. Every subtle touch was magnified, every smile loaded with meaning. Her pulse raced at the thought of proximity, at the imagined caress that lingered in her mind. She imagined his hand tracing hers, fingers intertwining, hearts racing together. Even a whispered word, a subtle laugh, made her stomach flutter uncontrollably. The attraction was patient but fierce, simmering beneath the surface, unrelenting. She felt alive in ways she hadn't expected, intoxicated by his nearness. Even the faintest brush of skin against skin left her shivering, yearning for more. Her imagination played out endless scenarios, moments where restraint gave way to desire. Every accidental touch lingered in her mind, growing in intensity with each passing second. Her body responded before her mind could catch up, betraying every thought she tried to contain. She imagined his lips on hers, soft and urgent, tracing the line between hesitation and surrender. Every glance, every gesture, every breath shared felt loaded with possibility. She longed to close the distance, to feel the warmth of him fully, without restraint. The tension between them was sweet, consuming, and entirely irresistible. Every moment, together, no matter how brief, left her craving more. Even mundane interactions were tinged with desire. Every laugh, every touch, every glance. Her heart raced at the thought of intimacy, of crossing the invisible line between them. She imagined his hands on her waist, fingers pressing gently, a closeness that left her breathless. Every subtle movement was magnified. Every heartbeat synchronized with the imagined touch of him. She longed to feel his lips, to feel him close, to surrender to the pull she could no longer deny. The days passed in a haze of desire, every thought circling back to him, every fantasy playing out in her mind. Even the memory of his smile, the brush of his hand, left her trembling. She imagined the heat of his touch, soft yet urgent, drawing her closer with every second. Every glance, every brush, every laugh built a tension that could not be contained. Her imagination carried her into moments of shared closeness, whispered words and stolen touches. She longed for the day when restraint would fade, when desire could be fully realized. Her mind was consumed by fantasies of intimacy, each more intense than the last. Even in his absence, she felt the magnetic pull, the longing for his nearness. She imagined the warmth of him, the soft press of lips, the shared breath, the quiet urgency. The anticipation was intoxicating, a sweet torment she could not escape. She felt the heat rising, the pulse quickening, the ache of desire she could no longer hide. Every thought, every heartbeat, every shiver was a testament to the pull between them. She imagined surrendering, letting the tension resolve in closeness and heat, in intimacy and whispered breaths. Every day, every glance, every subtle touch built the story. A story of desire, longing, and irresistible attraction. The magnetic pull between them grew, patient, yet consuming, irresistible yet delicate. And in every imagined moment, in every secret thought, she felt the undeniable, unspoken connection that bound them together.